Okay, good evening, everyone. So this is a video to address some of the stuff that was given on the feedback. So first and foremost, right, I'd like to thank everyone who took this survey. The number of people who took the survey is actually much larger than I expected. So that is very good because I would like a lot more response rather than just from like 5 or 6 people, but the number that I got was pretty good. So I think it's a good number size for me to work on lah. And also the purpose of this feedback is so that I can see how you guys are doing. I can see if the content is beneficial to you or not. And I also like to know the your performance on how my trade setup are going, because there's no point for me to keep posting trade setup but majority of you are losing money. Then I'm definitely providing more harm to the group rather than giving benefits lah. So we'll go through some of the survey result, and we'll go through some of the feedback and suggestion given each one of them, so at least you can understand from my perspective and whether if some of the suggestions are feasible or not. I do have some really good suggestions, so some of them I might implement them in the future, but there are some that I, even though they are good, but I am not able to implement them. So number one thing I would like to address is that this Patreon, it is not designed as a trading signal platform, meaning I'm not here to give you trade signal and you go and buy the moment I say, or the moment I post a trade setup, but rather it is acting as a additional tool for you to make certain decision, meaning you still need to rely on your own personal input, your own personal decision to make the trade. I'm just here to give you a sort of like a shortcut, I would say, but I am not giving you the fish itself. So I'm still sort of um, teaching you how to fish, giving you a free fishing rod or something like that. But I'm not really trying to give trade signal. That is not the point of this. So any ideas that will push Patreon towards that direction, I am totally gonna disregard it, which is why I'm providing things like scanner. And after providing things like scanner, most of my webinar focus more on how you should take a certain trade, how you should look at certain trade rather than just buy this, do that. Not like direct instruction lah. And another thing you need to understand also is that Patreon works in tiers. We have $10 tiers, the $20 tiers, and we have $40 tiers. And of course, you also have to consider that I am teaching a course which the trainee paid $3,000 to come for the course. So there will be certain information that I will intentionally not share to certain groups. If not, it will not be fair to people, those who paid the money in order to receive that information. So a lot of information that you guys suggested that you would like to know, some of them, not most of them, are actually some of them, they are actually only taught to my course people because they do pay that money for the course. So it is only fair to them that they know that, and it is not shared to the Patreon, because no matter what, how you look at it, Patreon is definitely a lot cheaper than a $3,000 cost. So for example, if you are on a $40 tiers, most likely that is like about I would say 90 months worth of Patreon subscription fee to fight with one course. So it is not fair for me to like teach everything within this Patreon, whereas they come for the course. And another reason is also because some of the technique and strategy that you need to learn, it is not something that I can teach through a web video or a Patreon post, but rather I need to watch you perform the task and I need to see that you are performing it correctly. So it is more like on the job training, which I do that with my course trainee, so they have that particular benefits. So I just want you guys to understand certain restriction that I have, and I cannot provide certain things, mainly because we have certain tiers in place. So with that said, right, let's go through some of the survey result. Not to worry, everything is anonymous. I don't know who said what. Okay, so number one, the first question is, of course, is the subscription fee fair with regards to the content that you are receiving? So 90.2% of you say it is of fair value, which I am very, very glad, because I actually, my target was about 70 to 80%, but the fact that 90% of you said that it is fair, it sort of convinced me that my pricing for the subscription is somewhat about there lah. Maybe it's not perfect, which is why I still have 9.8% find it slightly expensive. So there could be tweaks in the future. I cannot promise, but I would be trying to tweak the pricing in the future lah. But of course, you have to bear this in mind that there's actually a lot of $40 subscribers. So if I reduce the cost, right, it's not really fair for the $40 the subscriber that they are paying this amount in the past for so long, and suddenly I'm sort of reducing everything. So these are the things that we have to keep in mind. It is not simply just I want to reduce, then I reduce the price. So this is the most important questions of all. How many of you made profit from subscribing to Patreon? So 51% of you said profit. Yes, you have made profit. They are more than the loss, which is I'm very, very happy. There is about 10% that you have not entered any trade yet. So what I am hoping that these 10% are, you guys are probably new. You probably just joined Patreon. You probably just subscribe. So you might not have received any post, any trade setup that you would like to take. Hence, you have not taken any trade yet. So I really do hope that these 10%, you are new. You have not been subscribed for very long. If you are subscribed for like 1-2 months, because this Patreon start in October, if you are subscribed for at least 1 month, you have been using this service for like a full 30 day, and you have not made any trades yet, please PM me on Patreon. Don't PM me on Messenger. I will not see it. PM me on Patreon. I would like to know the reason why, because you are paying money. So I do hope that you earn something, you gain something. So if you are not trading, right, I would like to know what are the challenges that you have, and perhaps I can resolve those and put you on the track where you can start trading comfortably. I'm not sure whether is it capital issue or is it a brokerage issue, things like that. I do want to know more. So this 9.8%, please, if you are new, it's okay. Maybe you have not come across any trade you want to take, but if you have been here for like more than 30 days and you still have not made any trades, do come and find me. And 36% of you said position is stuck, never hit stop loss, never hit TPO. So this is fairly normal. This is fairly normal. But of course, there is a very small percentage that you got hit stop loss, and that is definitely very normal also. So one thing I would like to share is that this percentage that you hear, it is what I exactly expected, mainly because this percentage, it follows exactly my portfolio, my entries. Whenever I enter a trade, 50% of the time, I will get a profit, probably within like 1 week, 2 weeks. But I will have about 30% of the trade that is stuck there, not moving. And it will tend to be stuck there for maybe 1 month, 2 months. But eventually they will move. Eventually, they whether hit the stop loss or go to the TP, I'm not sure. But eventually they start moving. So the percentage that is being stuck is almost exactly the same as my portfolio. And of course, I'll discount the 10% that have not entered trade. So the remaining 20% that is hit stop loss, that is also normal, because about 25 to 30% of my entries, they are hit with stop loss. That is only fair because you cannot expect 100% winning trade in any kind of guru or any kind of sharing system here. Let's be realistic. Hitting stop loss, we are no, at some point we are going to hit it. It is not always like every time I post, it's 100% things. This morning, my Sembcorp Marine was just hit with a stop loss, so I just take the loss. That's it. No hard feeling. We just move on. But what I'm trying to emphasize is, yes, we make, majority of you make profit, but there will still be people who are stuck. That is normal, because I myself get stuck in a lot of position lah. So this is a fairly normal profile that I'm seeing here. So not to worry. Hopefully in the future, those that are stuck probably can move on to be profitable, and those who are already profitable can be even more profitable. And hopefully for those who hit stop loss, I do sincerely wish that some of your other counters will start to give you profits. Second, if your entry hits stop loss, what is the counter? Okay, Fisker, Sprout Social, Anthem. Okay, unfortunately, yes, these are the counter that have hit stop loss. If counters that I am personally in have hit stop loss, I tend to announce it as well. For example, for the case of the Sembcorp Marine, I have hit the stop loss. But Thai beverage, I'm not sure if I have made any Thai beverage calls or not, so not really sure about that. I don't think I made any Thai beverage call on my Patreon or anywhere, probably on Facebook, but that was very, very long time ago. And I remember very clearly that that particular Facebook sort of call had hit the stop loss. So back then I was already out of Thai beverage. So I'm not sure where this Thai beverage come from lah. Whoever who post this, could you just drop me a message and let me know when was this Thai beverage? Okay, so next, do you find non-trade setup information useful? This includes short write-up posts such as lot sizing guide. So okay, 92.7% say very useful. I'm very happy. There's a very small majority that say you already know this. I'm very happy also. It's good that you know, which means I don't have to guide you. You should have no problem making use of all the trade setups lah. But the last one, no, I don't understand the relevance. Trading is just enter and exit. This one, it concerns me. It really concerns me because I actually put that option there like a troll option. I did not expect anyone to choose it, but the fact that someone choose it, I really, really sincerely hope that it is a troll answer. Because in my course, in my 3-month course, I spent the whole 3 months teaching people exit and enter is the least important. You have a hierarchy of things that are most important to the least important. Entry and exit is like way at the bottom. There is so much more important things that you have to master before you come to the entry and exit. In my course right now, right, my current batch, the very, very first batch, their course is 6 months. That's mainly because they are the first batch. I would like to give them more incentive for being the first one because they took a huge risk in trusting me. So I give them 6 months. In that 6 months, right, I spent 4 months trying to teach them everything that is aside from enter and exit. The enter and exit only comes in at like the very, very last stage, and it is the least important thing. So if you truly believe that trading is just enter and exit, right, you are doing it very, very, very wrong. So whoever you are, if you are new and you truly believe this is the case and you are new, please come and message me so that I can understand more. If you are a troll, I'm really glad that it is a troll instead of like a legit answer. If you are someone who is really, really successful and you truly believe that trading in just enter and exit, right, then I have nothing to say. I mean, you keep doing whatever works for you lah. So yeah. Next one, do you find the mode of update user friendly? 100% of you say yes, so which is very good. Okay, which post do you find most help to you? So trades. Don't worry about the blue color box. Yeah, the blue color box is just for me to hide the number of people who voted, because I do not want the number of subscriber to be public information lah. So it's something private to me lah, because a lot of people will see, oh, this guy got like what, like 200 subscriber lah, must be earning a lot lah, this lah, that lah. So I don't want that kind of stuff, which is why I hide it. So for the trade setup, right? You can sorry. So for this particular portion, you can, okay lah. Actually, at the bottom there, there's a number there already, but never mind. Let's continue. For this, the definitely trade setup is what most people are here for, but I'm quite surprised that a lot of you find scanner very useful, because most of the common feedback I receive is that the you don't know how to use the scanner. The scanner is like there's too many stuff there, don't know how to use. So, but I'm quite surprised that scanner at the top, and of course shortly behind is the webinar. They are about the same, and fund flow is the least. Okay, so this one I admit that it is my fault, because I am simply just posting the fund flow rather than teaching you how to use it. So probably for the $20 folks, right? You guys have the fund flow, whereas the $10 folks doesn't have the fund flow. So I will sometime soon, I will be posting a video on how to use the fund flow information. It is quite important. It is quite important in terms of knowing what the market situation is. So I will put up a video on how to use the fund flow for the $20 folks lah. Give me about 1 minute. I'll be back. Okay, let's continue. Okay, so how do you find the frequency of trade setup? 80.5% of you say just nice, which is good. There's a small 10% of you say it's too frequent and you're having difficulty on choosing what to trade, and another 10% say that it's not frequent enough. So for this, right, since the majority of you says that it is just nice, I'm gonna keep to the frequency. So those that say not frequent enough, right, I'm guessing that those posts that are coming up, those trade setup posts that are coming up, you were not able to trade them, probably because they are in the Hong Kong market or they are in the US market, and your brokerage does not support these two, or you don't have a proper brokerage setting up in order to trade this market, so you are unable to trade it, which is why you find that you are not able to trade lah. I do believe that I post quite often. If you look at November, there were 55 posts in November, which is more than one post a day. Of course, some of them were scanners, some of them were trade setup, some of them were webinar, but a 55 posts for the entire month I believe is more than enough. And I can tell you that even personally myself, I made a lot of trade setup. Even though I want to enter all of them, I do not have the capital to enter. So most of the time, what I'm facing is I have simply too little capital to enter everything that I want, and I'm already playing with a 100K account, and that 100K account is not enough for me to enter every single trade setup that I find potential. So I do not think that I'm not posting enough. It is just that perhaps you are somewhat restricted. So what I can suggest is you can go and find out how you can trade Hong Kong market and US market. Tiger Broker is actually a very good option. If you are using CFD is also probably one of the main culprit, because if you are on IG Interactive Broker CMC, right, a lot of counters are not available to you, mainly because they are considered risky, or perhaps the CFD brokerage provider don't really have these counter offered to you, so which is why you are somewhat limited. So my advice is, once again, Tiger Brokerage is very good. So far they have every single counter that I want to trade, and the commission is very low. So I'm not their agent, I'm not working for them, but it's just that they are really that good lah. So do try it out. For those folks who say too frequent, in the future I'll be posting a video to sort of filter out which is good for you. You guys need to understand that there are many kinds of traders out there. There are those who like to buy breakout trades. There are those who like certain counters. For example, I have some people who only trade blue chip, and I always post penny counter, and that person says that why you keep posting counter? You cannot post blue chip. So there is really a very wide array of traders. So the reason why it is too frequent is I need to consider for every single kind of traders out there, so that each one of you, if I make 10 trade setup posts, each specific group of traders, right, they can find something to trade. So it is good to ask yourself, what kind of traders are you? Because definitely this is not a specialized program like my trading course. This is a mass market program. So because it is a mass market program, right, which is why the subscription is cheap compared to my trading cost, which is $3,000. So as such, right, there is still effort needed on your part to make certain decision. So you need to figure out what kind of trader are you. Do you like penny stock? Do you like blue chips? Do you like to chase candles? Do you like to chase momentum? Do you like to buy at support, or do you like to buy at breakout? Do you like to average down? So all these kinds of things, and different trader prefer different thing. So that's the reason why there's a lot of trade setup, because I need to cater every single one of them. So do go and find out what kind of trader are you, what kind of trade setup that you personally like, or you find most success with, and then you stick to those trade. And perhaps you can filter out the trade setup by yourself, because the thing is, the scanner gives you, there are hundreds, thousands of stock available through US, Hong Kong, and Singapore market. The scanner filter these 100,000 of stock into 20, 30 stocks. And from these 20, 30 stocks, I filter them into probably 10 stocks every week, every day. And from these 10 stocks, so from your end, you only need to choose from these 10 stocks which one you want to trade. So there's already a lot of filter done. So on your part, there is still effort that is needed lah. So I do hope that that sort of clears some of the things up. Okay, let's continue. Okay, so before we come to this, right, let's go through the most um uh a lot of suggestions. So the question is, what sort of content would you like to see in the future? Simple explanation of SLTP, etc. Okay, simple explanation. I think this one I'll be able to share probably in the form of video. More knowledge sharing related. This is good also. I'll definitely try to come up with more knowledge sharing stuff. But the knowledge sharing will probably go to the $20 tier and $40 tier. So the $10 tier, right? Unfortunately, I will not be offering anything else except from the scanner lah, because that's the cheapest, and the $10 tier is actually meant for very, very experienced trader who do not need anything else. They just need the scanner to help them filter down, and that's all they need. They don't really need anything else. So I don't find the need to cater to the $10 tier aside from the scanner. If you feel that you need more help on top of the scanner, then perhaps a $20 or $40 tier might be more right for you. And more US trade setup. So this is the most common suggestion that I see. More US trade setup. So I will definitely be giving, sorry, I'm replying a text. Okay, sorry. So I will definitely be providing more US trade setup. So this is something that I personally want to do also. I like to see more non-trade setup teaching on post. I like to learn the basic TP SL technique, but I cannot afford the money. Okay, so the basic TP and SL technique, right? Unfortunately, the SL technique is the main core part of my course. So there's no basic or what, but it is just a very straightforward technique that my course trainee uses. So the SL level is placed at an area where it meets two criteria. Number one criteria is you are not flushed out by noise price movement. Noise means it just move up and down for no apparent reason. Second, it will only be triggered when the price is really going down, meaning you will not encounter situation where, okay, I will not say no, but you will rarely encounter a situation where price hit your TP and it goes back up. So if you know a proper SL technique, that second situation will rarely happen to you. There will be rare times where it happens, but most of the time it won't. So in order to place a stop loss at that level, right, it is the core strategy of what I teach in my course. So unfortunately, I'm sorry that you couldn't afford the time or the money. It is just something that I cannot reveal to the Patreon audience lah. So on that part, I truly apologize. More US sticker to trade setup. Yes, definitely. I will be putting up more US sticker. How to use scanner post well and how to see better setup. Okay. So this one I have an introductory video on sort of how to use the scanner, but I think that one was too basic. So I think it is fair enough that I should put up probably another video or a guide on how to use the scanner post lah. So I think this is one of the suggestion that I think it is good. I will be doing that also. More tips and tricks. Yes, definitely. I will provide more tips and tricks as much as I can afford the time. Indicate which trade you personally enter in trade. Okay, so this one is what I mean by I do not want my Patreon to become a signal provider, because it doesn't matter which trade setup that I take. What matter is which one do you take, because as I said, I create a lot of trade setup, most of them to cater to different people. So the trade setup that I take is based on my style. It might not be based on your style. So if you think that I'm entering because I find a particular setup much more potential to be profitable, you are definitely wrong. As I have always said, if can, I will want to take every trade setup that I post. It's just that I can't. So there will be some trade setup that I will go in, but the next trade setup that I post, I can't go in, most likely because I have no more capital. The reason is as simple as that. So I am not going to post live trade setup of my position. I do not want my Patreon to be a signal provider. Next, more US trade setup. Okay, yes, this definitely, as I said, maybe a trade tier classification list, those that are more volatile, rapid moving. Okay, so this one I did come up with this in the morning already. I will classify my trade into something like aggressive, risky, YSL, but whether long term or short term, mid term, this is very hard, because when I post a trade setup, right, I definitely want it to hit TP the next day. That is my main goal. That's my best case scenario. But of course, not everything goes our way. Some of them can get stuck for 2-3 weeks. Some of them can even stuck for 2 months. I have no control over that. That is the future. As if you are frequent in my Facebook group, right, you will know that I hate prediction. I don't like prediction. Prediction. My trade setup are not based on prediction. My trade setup are risk based, meaning I take a trade if I feel that the risk is manageable. I ask myself, if it hit my stop loss, can I handle this risk? If yes, I will take the trade. I do not take the trade by looking at, can I hit the TP? Can I hit the profit? If I can hit the profit, I'm going to take the trade. So that's a prediction mindset. That's a TP mindset. But mine is a risk-based mindset. But of course, if you just look at risk base, right, then you can definitely take every trade that is like you can set a nice stop loss, of course lah. But the thing is, most of my trade setup, they sort of fits both way, where they are breakout trades, but the risk is also acceptable. So that's why most of the trade setup you see tends to be breakout trade, because not only they are breakout trade, they are the risk after behind taking that trade is also a very manageable risk. It is not like such a big risk that you are going to lose a lot, or things like that. So whether, because the thing is, there's no way I can predict whether a counter going to be mid-term or short-term. That is definitely predicting the future ready. Of course, every time I enter, I hope that immediately next day hit TP ready, I can definitely move on to the next one. Personally, I myself, my majority of my trade average around 1 week, 2 weeks, then I TP ready. There will be quite a few that are stuck for like 1 month, 2 months, but those are very minority. But most of them I hit about 1 week, 2 weeks lah. Uh, of all potential tricks, how do you pick one? Okay, so this one is good suggestion. I like it. At least you are keen to learn, rather than you are just want to know which one I enter, but rather how. So this I will definitely, hopefully in the future, I will go through also. More trade setup posts. Okay, more trade setup posts. As this one, I will like to ask you to refer to the previous explanation where I mentioned about why sometimes you feel that there is no very few trade setup posts, and why there's another group that feels that there's a lot of trade setup posts. So I'm hoping that you are one of the person who said there's not much trade setup, so I will refer you back to the explanation. More trade setup in SGX counter. So okay, so this one is very funny. No, I'm not mocking the person who wrote this. It's very funny because as you all know, I mainly specialize in Singapore counters. I know Singapore counters very well, and I know all of their price movement. I know most of the company. Whenever some counters come up, right, I know this counter. Unlike US or Hong Kong, some of the company that comes up I never heard before one. But Singapore counters, right, I know 90% of the counter in Singapore market. But the thing is that unlike US or Hong Kong, Singapore market is very dry. It's very, very dry. There will be some days where the scanner shows only like one counter. There will be some days where scanner shows like two counters. But there will be certain more active period where we have more choices. The scanner show like 10 counter. Maybe the most I seen was 10 counters lah. But on the US scanner, it can come up to about 20 counters. A lot of choices. So when I am posting very little Singapore counter, right, it is not because I'm not focusing on it, but rather there's there's really nothing to trade in Singapore market in that current condition lah. So as I have always emphasized, if there's nothing to trade, do not force a trade, because the reason why the scanner is not giving any counter is the market condition is not favorable to trade. So don't ever force a trade just because you want to trade. So yep, if it were up to me, I would love to trade Singapore counter also, but there are just some conditions where we are just not able to make the trade lah, due to dry season. How to construct a balanced portfolio? This is definitely out of the area that is covered by Patreon, but hopefully perhaps if I can squeeze in, I will definitely share this in a webinar, probably on the $40 tier, but not to the 20 or the $10 lah. More explanation on why a particular trade setup is done. Okay, to be honest, I can tell you a lot of I think I said this many times also. A lot of you think that I have a special formula, I have a special secret I'm not telling anyone. Okay, I do have things that I don't tell Patreon folks because they are mainly reserved for my course trainee lah. But those that are reserved for my course trainee, they are not like a magic pill or a magic formula you use ready, you immediately become profitable. No, it's not like that. Definitely not like that. It's just that my trade setup are very, very simple. Number one, I only trade those that comes out in my scanner. So most of the things that you see me trade, right, you will see them on the scanner. Number two, I go through the scanner. I look at things that are in uptrend. I look at the candle. I look at whether it break out of resistance. And the most important one, I look at where is the stop loss can be placed. And looking at the stop loss and looking at the current price, is the stop loss too far from the current price? If it's too far, I will not take the trade because I will deem it as risky. The stop loss is just way too far. So now the big question mark here is, how do you find the stop loss? How do you place the stop loss? So once again, that particular part I cannot reveal to you. So it's to be fair lah. So my trade setup are very extremely simple, extremely simple. So it is all from the scanner. So if you have the scanner, just look at the scanner, and it's as you practice more and more, right? Or as you look at my trade setup more and more, you will sometimes find a pattern lah. You'll sometimes find a pattern that give you the most successful trade, and you will see why lah. So this is something you have to figure out for yourself. It's because not that I don't want to tell you, it's because it comes from experience. Uh, a lot of you think that trading is I give you a formula, you can be profitable next day, but no, it's really there is experience involved in choosing certain things. That 80% I can give you the formula, that all those stuff, probably 60% of that I'm already sharing on Patreon, but the other 20% is for you to figure out yourself, and the other final 20% is you still need to put in your own input. You still need, there is still an effort needed on your part. This is not meant to be a effortless profit generating service. If it is, if I can truly come out with that service, I will not be charging you $40. I'll be charging you like $1,000 a month. If it's auto, something that I can go in, you confirm profit, it won't be this cheap lah. Okay, risk management, how to stack winning trade. Okay, risk management I can teach you. How to stack winning trade, I can tell you a bit, but once again, stacking winning trades is also a core part of my course, so it's not something that I can share out to you, simply to be fair lah. So I do like some of the suggestion here, and I will try my best to implement. There's simply too many here. So in terms of importance, in terms of how much free times that I have, I will try to implement most of them lah. And the most common one I see is more US trade setup. So okay, I definitely hear you all. I will definitely try to come up with more US trade setup. But some of the rest that I've told you, where you need to keep in mind that there's a certain tier involved. I cannot simply just share any information that I want. I do hope that you understand this. So yeah, and there will simply be things that I can't share lah. But I will try to implement most of the stuff that you guys suggested here. Okay, let's continue. Lastly, what improvement can be done? What are the improvements that can be done? Okay, I think there is also one suggestion. I'm not sure. Where is it? Sorry, let me find. What improvement can be done to current content? Okay, let's go through here. What improvement can be done to the current content? If we can use the scanner on our own, that would be perfect. Okay, this one need a slightly longer explanation. Do bear with me. So before I came out with the Patreon, I shared the scanner on Facebook. Just it was also a screenshot lah. Mainly because for those of you who know, right, the scanner comes from TradingView. Let me open up TradingView to show you. Okay, so when you come to screener, stock screener, okay, so you definitely have this. But here you can see that I have my own screener lah, Nimbus screener, which is how I'm sharing with you all. So you have this screener. So the thing is, okay, let me push this away to all-time high. Okay, all-time high. Wait. Let me sign up. Okay, so when you come to this screener, right? You have this screener. Everyone have access to this screener. And when you come to filter, you have a lot of filter here. So my scanner is actually tweaking with all these filter to give you the most probable trade. So you can actually come to technical, you can filter like 3-month high or whatever lah, your bull bear power, Bollinger Band, all these, you can exponential average, you can come and play around with it. So actually you have access to this scanner yourself. You just need to find the correct criteria. So the thing is, back then in Facebook, I actually put out a poll saying, do you want a lot of you want the scanner, but the thing was, do you want the scanner on a one-time payment or on a subscription base? So the one-time payment, it was about $500, and a lot of you choose a subscription base. So because it is a subscription base, I cannot simply give you the criteria. If I give you the criteria, then there's no need for you to subscribe to my service already. You can just take the criteria, plot it yourself, and then you just go do your own thing. So I simply cannot let you use the scanner by yourself due to the payment issue. And the only reason that I'm doing a subscription base is because majority of you wants a subscription base. If it were one time payment, it is simply too expensive because it was I will price it around $500. $500 mean let's say you have 40 US, the highest tier is 40 US dollar. Of course, if you look at the lowest tier, that $10, meaning you are is probably worth like 50 months, probably 4 years. But if I give you the criteria, you're probably gonna use it for a lifetime lah. So I price it at $500, or I think slightly lower also. I forgot already. So majority of you do not want a one-time payment. Uh, you chose the subscription base instead because you feel that if it's not useful, then I'm gonna unsubscribe already, which was fair enough reason. Which is why now I am coming out with a screenshot based system because it is the only way that can be fair to both and fair to you. If I give you the criteria straight like that, it's not fair to me already. So unfortunately, that is how it is right now. But in the future, I am trying to work out with TradingView to see if they can set the criteria to private so that you can access it on TradingView itself. It's just that the criteria will be private to you, so I don't need to post a screenshot anytime. You can just use it by yourself. Either that, or I can create my own website. I pull the data from TradingView and I can make all the setting private myself. But both of these choices, right, they are quite far down the pipeline. Won't be happening anytime soon. So as it is right now, I do apologize that you have to bear with the screenshot for now lah. I feel that as it currently is, I do agree it's a bit leceh to go and open the TradingView and then look at the screenshot and then go and manually type in the counter. It does take some work lah, but I do apologize that that's the best I can do right now until I can come out with a better system. Of course, I'll be trying my best to come out with that better system lah. Hopefully sometimes my target time is sometime next year, the second quarter of 2021, hopefully by June lah. Okay, so I do hope you guys understand that. Let's continue. Silica stock update perhaps. Okay, so Silica stock probably come under fundamental analysis already because I'll be very frank with you. I don't really care if a stock is silica or what. Is beyond the scope of the Patreon lah. I simply look at my scanner, look at what I think is possible, and then I post ready. So I don't really care they are silica, they are the current team in play, like during COVID period, all the medical, all the glove counter all go up, but I wasn't in any of those stock. I didn't care. And those that chase all the top glove whatever, they actually lost more money than I'm just playing by myself. So you don't personally for me, I don't care all this too much lah. So I can't teach or update something that I do not have the knowledge in or I do not really care about. So I mean I'm not like um other groups where I try to like act like I know everything. I can be frank with you that I don't really know much fundamental. I do know fundamental in terms of numbers, like PE ratio, stuff like that. But in terms of what is cyclical, what is in play, what is the next team, like a lot of people say, oh, maybe now next year the team will be soft commodity, whatever. All this I don't really care. If it's truly soft commodity, my scanner will show all the soft commodity counter going up. I will simply just trade as per my scanner lah. So that's how I trade. It's very simple. You need to keep it simple lah. Okay, and next, too new to comment. Can I ask if setup apply to options as well? You are never too new to comment. Once you have joined, you are free to comment lah. uh, Unfortunately, also I'm not experienced in option. I know how option works, but I have never traded options before. So there's a lot of additional variables in option that you need to be very very wary of. But sorry to say that I have no expertise in that area, so I cannot give you any advice. Some explanation on trade setup. Yes, we have gone through that, so I'll definitely try to come up. Ticker should be done before it spike out. So this is a very very tricky question that I like to address as well. So for those of you who does not understand this, let me show you some of the tickers. Let's sign out first. Let's sign into my So for those of you who know my trade setup, they tend to be a breakout trade. They tend to follow a very strong green candle. So let me give you one example. Let's see, perhaps I don't really want to use Singapore counter, but seems like Singapore counter is the only one. Okay, never mind. Let's look at Propnex. Let me remove this. Okay, so my trade setup, oops, sorry. So my trade setup tends to come in when this kind of candle shows up. My trade setup come in when this kind of candle shows up. Then you will see my trade setup. And after that, those who buy probably get stuck for this period. If you are impatient, you are most likely going to be stop out, even though my stop loss did not hit, and then you will miss this trade. So a lot of people ask me, why do I only post trade setup when this come? Why I cannot post here? Then you catch this also, ma. So the thing is, if you have to always think of situation. How many times have you entered in this kind of trade setup here? How many times have you entered in this sort of chart, and then you get stuck there for very long? Suppose at here, I do not know. Let's say if candle is here right now, I do not know that it's going to stagnate the rest of the way. It can go up the next day, or it can go stagnant rest of the way. I do not know. So the thing is, if you try to buy before the spike, right, the chances of you getting stuck is much longer, a lot more longer. So what happened is, this is what I mean by when most people, when they are fearful of seeing red in their unrealized position, right, in their open position, right, they try to bottom pick counters. When they try to bottom pick counters, they try to use all sorts of theory, fundamental, this and that, try to justify their position, and they go and enter at this kind of very stagnant market. Hopefully they can get the gap up. So there will be times where you are very lucky, you enter here, then one day later goes up, good. But the thing is, if you trade this kind of pattern like over 100 trades, I have taken more than 400 trades in my trading career. So I know what works over a large numbers of trade, and I know what works perhaps for that particular one specific scenario. It's like as if someone win a lottery and then you go and tell them, how come you didn't pick the correct numbers like 1 year earlier? Why you pick only now? Because the thing is, we don't know if the chart is going to go up or is going to continue sideways. We can never know that. That is why, right, if you trade and during any this kind of period, right, there's the chance that you are going to stuck here for like god knows how long. You'll be stuck for extremely long. So the risk is not worth it. The risk is definitely not worth it. That is why my trade setup tend to be, I will wait for a bullish candle to come in, because the bullish candle comes in mean that the smart money are pushing. So if the smart money are pushing, it's highly likely that smart money are going to push further. Or if it gets stagnant a bit, maybe probably stagnant for a while, then they will push up even further. So if it is in a stagnant mode like this, um, if you go and enter, you will have no idea how long it is going to last. So it is not worth the risk. There is there is really no point in entering before the ticker. So you are asking for a trade setup that you want to enter just before the price move up. That is definitely undoable, aside from lucky trades or something. Maybe there's a strategy out there that does it, but if you are here and you want that kind of setup, I'm sorry that I couldn't give you that kind of setup, because I will get some lucky one. Probably maybe in 10 trades, I'll probably get 3 that within 1-2 days the price go up straight. You have definitely seen some of the setup. I think most of you have seen a lot more often in the past when the market condition is good. But right now market condition is not really very good. Everything is stagnant. Hong Kong, STI, Dow Jones, most of the stuff are stagnant. So you will be in a situation where when you go in, right, you will get stuck but I will always try to go in when I think price can goes up consecutive days rather than get stuck. Because when I enter a candle like this, it is not my intention that I purposely want to get stuck. I hope that the next candle will be up as well. It's just that sometimes things doesn't happen that way. So if you want an entry right before this kind of candle, right, unfortunately I cannot provide that. So next thing, other trading strategy that you may know of but do not use, just for education. So okay, I have used a lot of strategy before. I have used Elliott Wave before. I have used MACD before. So these are the two main strategy that I have used, and I do not find success in them, which is why I use my own strategy, which is incorporate into the scanner itself. So if you are using the scanner, you are basically using my strategy already. It is just that the scanner give you a bit more counter and you need some effort on your part lah. I can't really teach you something that I know doesn't work lah. So I don't want to purposely sabotage you also. I can't share lah, because I know they doesn't work. If there are other traders out there that this strategy works for them, is because that's their style, and they know how to tweak their strategy so that it works. But for me, I do not know how to tweak my strategy to make it work. So yeah. It's something that quite hard to share lah. It's not that I don't want to share, but I find that it's not beneficial for me to share. I hope with current subscription fee can access weekly webinar. No plan to upgrade. Okay, so the thing is, the $40 tier, the main portion of the $40 tier is the weekly webinar. People who pay $40 wants the weekly webinar. The only other thing that is in the $40 tier that the $20 tier doesn't get is my portfolio update. So the portfolio update, not many people want it, but there are still 1 or 2 folks who wants it. So it is there. It is also a avenue for me to sort of share with you all that I trade what I post. I'm not just posting, but I'm also a trader myself. Majority of my income comes from my trading, so I'm trading what I post. And every time I trade something, every time in my portfolio update, I also put a link there to the actual post that I shared, and I actually took the trade lah. So with that aside, right, the main bulk of why there is a $40 is the weekly webinar, because it actually takes up 1 hour of my time almost every weekend lah. Whereas doing a trade setup, it only takes up not as much time lah. So unfortunately, I am not be able to provide the webinar to the $20 folks, mainly because the main pool of $40 is the webinar. Hope to understand more regards rational. Okay, I can share basic stuff, but very specific detail I can't share, mainly because that is for the my course folks lah. Can the highest tier be $30 instead of 40? So okay, so this is something that can be done, possible, but I have to really think through it, and I have to see how I want to implement it. Mainly because those who are already subscribed for $40, they have been charged for 2 months already. Maybe come January, they'll be charged 3 times. So it is unfair for them to be paying $40 for the first 3 months, and then suddenly everything is $30. So it's not something that I can happily change lah. But I do have intention to make the highest tier cheaper, probably to a $35 or maybe even to a $30 lah. So this one I do have intention, not right now, probably not in the next month, but hopefully in the next 3-4 months. But I have to do it carefully so that I don't piss off the $40 people. I mean, they paid their money. I mean, they are like I don't know. I'll call them my supporters lah, because they are not not afraid to part $40 every month just to come and hear me say sarcastic things on every Saturday webinar. For those who are not familiar with trading US stock, what do you advise? Okay, what can I advise is, number one, the way I approach US stock and Singapore stock is basically the same thing. You need to know what lot size you want to enter. You need to know where your stop loss is, and once you know where's your, and both entry and stop loss, they are given by my trade setup post. The moment you know your entry and stop loss, you can calculate how much lots you should enter. Please go and read that post on my Patreon, very important. So once you have that, right, then everything is the same already. It doesn't matter you're in the US market, Singapore market, Hong Kong market. I currently, as right now, the only difference I find between US stocks and Singapore stocks is US stocks tends to be more fast moving. They tend to follow through as in one day you see green candle, the next day you can expect to see more green candle, and they are more volatile. Within one session they can move a lot, so you tend to get more profits, I will say, more trade setup there. And when Singapore market is dry, right, when STI is not moving, right, the whole of Singapore market doesn't move. All the maybe except for 1 or 2 pennies that chung like nobody else lah, but generally when STI doesn't move, Singapore market tends to be dry. But on US market, right, even if the S&P is negative or the Dow Jones is like stagnant, there will be other counters that are running. So it's very, very easy to find setup on US counter. But aside from that, in terms of dividend wise, I'm not really quite sure. Dividend, I don't know if I mean, you are charged tax for your dividend lah. But anyway, we are trading. I don't really care much about US stock dividend also. If I want dividend, I'm definitely keeping Singapore stock for dividend rather than US. So from trading perspective, I see no different from Hong Kong to US to Singapore stocks. And Tiger Broker, they are actually quite good in a sense that you are able to trade US and Hong Kong stock very easily within one platform, and it is quite user friendly also lah. So do try out. Trade setup posts were good, thank you. However, there should be more detailed description on e.g. why it was picked. Understood most stock you picked to be on a break or already breakout. So this part I have explained earlier. You will only want to enter when you see a good movement, a good volume, when smart money are coming in. You don't want to enter a stagnant trade in hope that it will go up, because most of the time, if you enter a stagnant trade, the chances of you getting stuck is much higher than you entering a breakout trade and getting stuck. There is no special formula to predict exactly when it's going to break out. There is no such thing, unless you are the manipulator of that stock itself, or unless you are a friend or someone who manipulate that stock, then the one I have nothing to say. More detailed description, there's really not much detailed description that I can give. As I shared earlier, I trade counters based off my scanner. My scanner is based on my strategy. The criteria input in my scanner is based on my strategy. So if I reveal that, I'll be revealing everything. So once again, it is I can't reveal because it's meant for the course folks lah. So for this portion, I'm really sorry that I can't reveal much, but what I can do is among the stock that shows up in the scanner, I can ask you, I can sort of share which one are the one that I find better, which are the one that I choose to make the trade setup, and which are the one that I choose to not to trade lah. So that one I can share. Scanner is great, but there are a lot in the scanner. How can we use scanner? Okay, so yeah, so this one I just said. So I'll be making that. I'll be making that video. More in-depth technical analysis. Okay, in-depth technical analysis. Okay, this one definitely I can share. Basically I use volume spread analysis, VSA. For those who doesn't know, do check it out. There's a lot of article and posts on VSA technique lah. I mainly use VSA technique. That's all I can say lah. And the book are very very in-depth. Very detailed so far. I don't see any. Thank you very much. Malaysia sector. Okay. So this one I'm really really sorry. Previously I made a poll on Facebook to say that who want a Malaysia scanner. I have overwhelming response say they don't want. So I'm sorry that because one or two want it, I have to go and do the scanner. It's just because this is not uh this is not a service that is specific to one person, so I cannot because of one person do something like especially for that person lah. So I'm really sorry. There won't be any Malaysia counter unless there is a huge demand, then I will do it lah. Of course, periodically I will probably put out posts to see, okay, any one of you want Malaysia counter. If there is enough people who wants, then I will definitely do it. Intraday or few days of trading setup. Okay, so intraday, so once again, intraday, I'm never going to put up any intraday, mainly for one reason. I which I said I don't want my Patreon to become a signal provider. And for intraday to work, right, you have to enter almost exactly the same time as I enter. If you are late in seeing my post like 1-2 hour, your chance is gone. So due to that, the reason why I do not post any intraday is for your own benefit. I don't want you to see my post 2-3 hour later, you chase and then you get stuck at the high. By the time you enter, I might have already take the profit run already. I don't want that kind of thing. So it is for your own benefit. And the thing is, and secondly is, of course, I do not want my Patreon to be a signal provider. So no intraday. Hopefully slightly cheaper higher tier, or cheaper or web-based full trading cost. Okay, cheaper higher tier, I will definitely think of it. Cheaper or web-based cost. Okay, so cheaper or web-based full trading cost, right? Web-based, I have a plan for web-based in the pipeline, but once again, it will not be anytime soon because it is require huge capital and huge effort required on my part, and it is something that I definitely would like in the future to capture the audience that are maybe not in Singapore or are residing overseas. So currently, it's not going to happen anytime soon lah. But if you want something cheaper, you can consider this. I do have this. I do have trade consultation and review. So do come to my website and look at this portion. It is a lot cheaper, and the base charge is only $800. It is not a full flash cost, but you will definitely improve a lot from this service also. So I can recommend you this lah if you do not have 3 months and $3,000 to come for the cost. Provide statistic to show here. Okay, I can tell you right, I'm not going to show you all the exact number. Number one, firstly, there's no obligation on my part. Number two, I share my portfolio every week. That's the furthest I'm going to go. Sometime when I do webinar, I show my account live. You can see my open position or my profits, my even my capital. But the statistic and past trade setup, there is something that you are not going to get, mainly because this is not MT4. MT4 give you a very nice profile just like that. In order for me to do all this, right, I do all this, but it is for my own benefit. It's not for me to post it up to the public. And the hit and miss rate, right, I can tell you that from the survey alone, you can already see that 50% of you all, more than 50% of you all are getting profit, 30% is stuck. So the truly miss are the one that hit the stop loss, and that is like less than 10%. So this one definitely a no, but maybe in the future, because Tiger Broker, they does have their own statistics, so maybe in the future I will start posting statistics from my Tiger Broker. But as it is right now, I'm very new to Tiger Broker. It's only like not even 2 weeks yet, maybe 3 weeks like that. 2.5 weeks. I just transfer all my funds over, not all, most of them, and some of my position are still stuck in Poem. Some of the position are in CMC. I still have not consolidated everything to Tiger yet, but hopefully in the future I will be able to show my statistic on my Poem. And past trades, you can see my close position on the portfolio update. If you are not in the $20 tier, then I'm sorry, you are not, you won't be able to see that. But this kind of information, right, I feel that you do not have the right to request. So you have seen the exact thing that I'm offering on my Patreon page even before you start sign up. So those are the stuff that you are entitled to. Aside from that, no. Send update via email, telegram to each specific tier. $10 tier unable to view most trade setup, not many privileged tender. Okay, so firstly, $10 is meant for experienced people who just need the scanner. They are experienced in risk management, they are experienced in their strategy, they are very experienced. They just want to know what are the good counters that they can trade. And my scanner tend to give a lot of breakout trades that which they can take. So they just look at my scanner, pay $10, get the trade they want, then they go and trade. If you are someone who need further help, then $10 is definitely not for you. You probably more fitted for the $20. So if you want that kind of $20 service, but you don't want to pay $20, then I'm really sorry that I can tell you that there's half of my subscriber are $20. The other half is $40. There's only about 10% that is on the $10 lah. So it's to be fair to everyone who subscribed to the $20 lah. So unfortunately, $10 you will only have the scanner plus the freebie post and nothing else, because it is not meant for people who need further help. Those who need the trade setup, you can go for the $20. If you need really a lot of analysis like weekly webinar explanation, then $40 is there for you. But you definitely cannot not want to pay higher fee like everyone else and then expect more lah. So this is the nature of the business lah. Are there any update analysis on part trade setup that have not hit? Okay, so this one, right, sometimes I'm trying my best to sort of go through at least trades from 2 weeks ago to tell you which are the one have not hit stop loss yet, but you can still continue on. So but I aside from those that I enter, right, I cannot definitely go through every single one of them, which is why my original rule stands, that is, if you did not hit stop loss, you do not exit. If you do not hit TP, you do not exit. Your open position that is either in a red or in the green doesn't matter. Whether red or green doesn't matter, because you have not closed the position. You only close it when you hit the stop loss. You only close it when you hit the TP. That's the rule that I myself personally follow. So I still have CMNC from like donkey years ago that is still in red. I still have Food Empire from like don't know 3 months ago still there. I just let it be. So I myself follow this. So although I do try to look back at counters that are maybe 1-2 weeks, but there are some that I'm really sorry to say is beyond my personal capability to do that lah. So if so which is why there's a blank statement that says if you do not hit stop loss, you do not exit lah. If you do not hit TP, also you do not exit. So I stick by that rule myself 100%. I do not deviate. So once again, as like previous all the previous videos that I made, I'm not sure if you are the $20 or $40, but the $40 folks will see me in some of the webinar that I said, if you are stuck in certain counters and you want to exit that counter to chase another counter, your core issue is you do not have enough capital. If you want to buy another counter, if you want to exit one to chase another one, then you should top up your trading account, not exit the previous position. Because what makes you think that the new counter that you enter, you are going to go up? Perhaps the new counter might be stuck even longer. I mean, my system is not a prediction based system, but I try my best to make sure that the counter is of good momentum lah. But still, you do not know whether you'll be stuck or not. So the thing is, there are two things you need to fix. Number one, fix your lot sizing position. Is it because you enter too big and you are stuck and you do not have any more capital? So the lot sizing position can be fixed by my post that I in the introductory post. And secondly, of course, you top up your capital lah. But if you truly have been holding for 2-3 months, okay, I do understand Vic Plus have been there for quite some time, and you do not want to hold it, then of course you can exit it and go and chase anything. But that will come to the next question that you ask. So how long should I hold before I can exit? So once again, all these follow-up questions, right, it really depends on you really. So if you want to break my rule, right, you have to break it on your own account. You come up with your own rule. You can set a rule for yourself. If I hold more than 2 weeks, I will exit. So that is, you need to set for yourself. I cannot help you with that because I don't do that. I follow my rule very strictly. If you want to deviate, then you have to come up with your own rule. Some explanation on trade setup may be useful. Okay, I will do come up with certain explanation, but most of the time my trade setup are mainly from my scanner. And like I said, I will look at candles. I will look at whether they are in a long-term uptrend. I will look at whether they have breakout of the resistance or not. So these are the things that I will look at. So the moment a counter shows up in scanner, I will look at all these things, candle, whether they are in an uptrend and whether they broke out of the resistance. So it's quite simple lah. But I can definitely go through some explanation, maybe in a form of webinar, because most of the time trade setup I want it to be as simple as possible. Lastly, the very last one, whether or not if you want to come to the Nimbus trading course. So majority of you states that no, because it is too expensive and you cannot commit 3 months. So this one, unfortunately, if you all know, right, my current batch is actually 6 months. They are here with me for 6 months. So 3 months, I cut that in half, and I will do that by condensing most of the information into a shorter time frame. My current batch is 6 months because they are quite slack lah. The pace is very slow, but I'm going to cram more stuff in the 3 months lah. So 3 months is what I believe to be the minimum you need to be a successful trader lah. You cannot expect to go to a weekend course or a 2-day course, Saturday Sunday you go, and then next day you want to be successful already. That is not how the way it works. If you have been going for all these weekend course many times and you still do not find success, right, it is because it simply doesn't work. Trading is something that you truly need a coach. You need someone by your side to see whether what you are applying, what you have learned. A lot of traders go to course and then they think that they are applying it correctly, but they are not. I can tell you my current course, right, they learn everything they need to learn already. So right now what I'm mainly doing is I'm watching them trade live, and I will look at their entry. Then most of them think that, oh, I enter correctly, I enter how you taught me, but actually no. Almost about half of them is wrong. They understood wrongly. They don't know what they are looking at. They apply incorrectly. So I am there to correct them and guide them. So most weekend course do not teach this, and what you are going to get from me is you are going to get that, which is why it is that expensive, and which is why it is 3 months. So I do hope you all understand that, which is why there is an extremely limited number to my course, because only those who are wants to learn this, only those who really keen will be here lah, will be coming for my course lah. I don't really like to entertain course jumper. Also, there are a lot of people who join different kind of course, like jump here, jump there, jump here, jump there, and then they have all these trading style from one guru, trading style from another guru, and then they themselves get very blurred. So my course is purposely set up this way to discourage these people from I mean, not pointing any fingers lah, but try in order to discourage people who are trying to take shortcut to come to my course. If you want to come to my course, you must commit the 3 months. It tells me that you are really willing to learn. If you cannot commit that 3 months, then I'm sorry that it's not meant for you. It's not meant for you. So as you all know me, I'm very blunt in how I deliver my message. So I do not personally mean any mean things or harm to everyone, but I just want to deliver my message as blunt and as clear as possible. So I do hope that this video is quite clear in sharing most of the stuff, and I will try my best to implement most of the suggestions that was put up here. And I am very very thankful for all your participation and the suggestion lah, because ultimately it is me providing you the service that you want, and it is you who is paying the subscription fee. So it is a win-win for both of us in that I need to provide you with what you need, but of course there are some limitations that I cannot go over lah. So I do hope you understand that. So have a good night everyone. Thank you once again, thank you for taking the time to do this survey.